So Trump has definitely hinted at trying to seek a third term for a while now, but I think recently has been his most, I would say, overt discussion of it all. I really don't think the Democrats, like a lot of these Democratic politicians, are praising this threat the way that it needs to be appraised. I think they think that, hey, the Constitution's automatically going to block this so we don't have nothing to worry about. And I think that nothing could be further from the truth when it comes to this. We're going to get into some discussions of like the exact language that the 22nd Amendment uses and why I think this, like, Trump's lawyers going to latch onto it, like latch onto the specific language of this. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Y'all know who I am. Y'all know who I am. Adrian, I be in the cut. I sizzle with your man. Don't be mad at me because he recognized the brand.
But then Javelin siphoned the power from me, and I felt my rage join his own. I stumbled when he let out his bombardment, as if my own breath had been forced out of me. At that, the grassy field became bright enough to fully erase the moon's light. Javelin had transformed his enemy into clumps of flitting ashes with his blue-white incandescence.
And keep in mind, the fact that we're even discussing this, it's a signal of an erosion of precedent. It's an erosion of tradition. And so, like, just the simple fact that this has even appeared in the political landscape as a possibility, right? Trump's third term, is signal enough already of erosion, right? And so BBC says U.S. President Donald Trump has not ruled out the possibility of seeking a third term for the White House, saying he would love to do it. But Trump rejected the possibility of running for vice president in 2028, an idea floated by some supporters as a way for him to circumvent the U.S. Constitution that bars the president from running for a third term. And I want to get into the specifics, like I said, of the amendment. They talk about the Constitution bars the president from running for a third term. And it's just like, okay, well, let's get into the language. All right. Speaking to reporters during his trip to Asia, Trump described the idea as too cute and said it wouldn't be right. As, I mean, obviously, he's just like, oh, like trying to play coy, but like, girl, we all right. We all know. It is unclear what method he would use to run again. Last week, former Trump strategist Steve Bannon, oh my gosh, I seen him talking. I think he was talking about Trump's divine right or something like. I was like, oh gosh. So last week, Steve Bannon went up there and said that a plan was in place to secure the 79-year-old president another term. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One on his way to Japan from Malaysia, Trump said that while he would be allowed to run again as vice president, he had no plans to do so. And so anytime Trump opens his mouth and says, oh, I'm not going to do it, I ain't going to do it, well, maybe I'm like, think, girl, they're all thinking about every single strategy that they can possibly use to get this done. Okay, so he's talking about, oh, I wouldn't do it. He'll do it if it gets the job done. Okay, I think that people wouldn't like that. He said it's too cute. It wouldn't be right. Now, on the possibility of a third term, Trump said, I haven't really thought about it. You expect me to believe that this power hungry man, obsessed with money and power man, hasn't thought about ruling forever and ever and ever? Okay. But I have the best poll numbers that I've ever had, and I think that's a false statement. Add it to the list. Additionally, Trump also suggested VP J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio as potential successors, calling them unstoppable. He said, all I can tell you is that we have a great group of people, which they don't. He's referring to the Democrats. They don't. So now the article says the 22nd Amendment of the U.S. Constitution bars presidents from seeking a third term. That's what it says. Let's pause here because, I want to talk about this. The exact language of the 22nd Amendment is no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once. And so, technically, it does not say that a president can't serve more than once. It just says they can't be elected into the position. And so, you might roll your eyes at that difference, but it is something that I think legal scholars they're just raising the alarm. Legal scholars obviously, they say it's clear that the Constitution's intent was to prevent a third terms, right? But, can Trump's lawyers, this is a question, can Trump's lawyers argue on the language? Because, it says that no, you can't be elected to the office. If you serve 3 times, that's different, right? One scenario often cited Trump running as vice president on a ticket in 2028. Then he gets elected as vice president, right? Then the president, whoever it is, resigns or is removed, and then Trump becomes president by succession and not by election. This would, proponents argue, sidestep this elected to the office of the president language, right? Like I said, you might think, okay, we're rolling our eyes at the difference between elected to the office and served, but I think that with the way that everything else is going, and y'all didn't try to impeach him twice, and he ain't going nowhere. They let him do whatever. They let him tear down the White House. Why wouldn't they argue on the language? Or do that kind of sidestepping thing where, okay, he runs as VP, and then the president who wins whatever steps down, and then he's president. And so I also wonder if they would just put him on the ballot anyway and have an election. This could be another method. If they just put him on the ballot anyway, because technically that might be allowed, or they might try to argue it, because the Constitution says he cannot be elected, not that he can't be put on the ballot. And, that is really ridiculous. But I don't put it past this administration to try, right? And so if they put him on the ballot arguing that it's legal because he's technically not elected, whenever he rigs the election or he wins it or whatever, they can say, hey, we know that the Constitution says that he technically can't be elected, but, people voted for him, and this is the will of the people. Do you really want to go against the will of the people? And with everything, like I said, with everything that's been going on, who's going to stop him if they decide to do that? And then I also think all the time, of how Trump sends these or he tries to send these guards, these troops to different cities, or National Guard to different cities. And I'm just all he got to do is lock these cities down during an election and be all right, try to vote now. And so I'm wondering if the Democrats are appraising this threat as it needs to be appraised, or if they're just well, girl, the Constitution go automatically block it. We don't know what he talking about. And I'm that's y'all problem. Y'all doing the same old thing, the same old way for hundreds of for generations. These Republicans come in and turn the rules upside down. And so I don't know, girl. I think they gunning for it, and y'all haven't stopped them with anything else. So why would they retreat now? You know what I mean? Now, if you don't know what it requires to get this action done officially, to repeal this amendment, it would require approval from 2/3 of both the House of Representatives and the Senate, and then ratification by at least 38 of the 50 state legislatures, a process viewed as highly unlikely. Okay, so last week we saw that Steve Bannon, he said, oh, well, there is a plan. Trump is going to be president in 2028, and people ought to just get accommodated with that. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. And by the appropriate time, I'm sure these people mean when it is completed, because why would they tell you what they're going to do or their strategy or how they're going to turn over the tables until the tables have been completely turned over? While Dems are over there playing by their rules and filling up their bank accounts with donor money, Republicans are flipping the rules upside down. In March, Trump told CNBC he would probably not run again, though he later said he was not joking about the possibility. It is still unclear which Democrats intend to run for the White House in 2028. Oh my gosh, Democrats scattered all over the place. We don't even know what's going on. Oh no, they don't even know what's going on. Although several have already expressed an interest. Now, on Sunday, Gavin Newsom told CBS that he would be lying if he said he was not giving serious thought to the presidential bid. Girl, we already knew that. That's why you were going after Donald Trump on social media all the time. Like, we already knew. Gavin, former VP Kamala told BBC she may run again and that she could possibly be president in the future. Girls, give it up. Ma'am, give it up. I, as much as I want to be hopeful for the Democrats, I don't foresee a future, in at least not in the near future. I don't see a Democratic administration in the near future. I mean, it might be the far future. Like, Trump is cutting off people, like, buying media, so them politicians won't be able to talk to their constituents. Like, or do you really think somebody going to, like, demolish half of the White House and put up this big ballroom if they plan on leaving soon? Like, I think that he is consolidating power. They are consolidating power. They're solidifying everything. They're using this shutdown to wipe clean certain things that they've been wanting to. You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? I think that this is much bigger of a threat than the way that these Dems just brushing it off like, yeah, whatever, like, it's just unconstitutional. Okay, the Constitution is a piece of paper. Do y'all forget? It's a piece of paper. So what are y'all going to do about it? All right. Yep. On that note, thank y'all so much for watching. Love y'all so much. Make sure you check out my Patreon at patreon.com/AdrianExpression and also my fantasy series at Zaraxia.com. Love y'all so much and make sure you have a good evening.
And a hater double dealing. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know who I am. Adrian, I be in the cut. I sizzle with